How to train your dog to stop barking. Excessive barking is a common problem that many dog owners face. It can be disruptive to your neighbors, family members, and even yourself. But the good news is that there are things you can do to train your dog to stop barking. Here are a few tips. 1. Identify the trigger. The first step to training your dog to stop barking is to identify the trigger. What is causing your dog to bark? Is it boredom, fear, anxiety, or excitement? Once you know the trigger, you can start to address it. 2. Remove the trigger. If possible, remove the trigger that is causing your dog to bark. For example, if your dog barks at people walking by the window, close the curtains or blinds. If your dog barks at other dogs, avoid walking them in areas where there are a lot of other dogs. 3. Provide your dog with mental and physical stimulation. Boredom is a common cause of excessive barking. Make sure your dog is getting enough exercise and mental stimulation. Take them for walks, play fetch, and give them puzzle toys to keep them occupied. 4. Teach your dog the quiet command. Once you have identified the trigger and removed it, you can start teaching your dog the quiet command. To do this, say quiet in a calm, firm voice when your dog is barking. Once they stop barking, give them a treat and praise them. Repeat this process several times until your dog is reliably stopping barking on command. 5. Be consistent. The most important thing is to be consistent with your training. Use the same command and rewards every time you train your dog. And be patient. It may take some time for your dog to learn the quiet command. Here are some additional tips for training your dog to stop barking. Avoid punishing your dog for barking. This will only make them more anxious and likely to bark more. Redirect your dog's attention. If your dog is barking at a trigger, try to redirect their attention to something else. For example, give them a toy to play with or call them to come to you. Socialize your dog. A well-socialized dog is less likely to bark out of fear or anxiety. Take your dog to puppy classes or socialize them with other dogs and people. If you are having trouble training your dog to stop barking, consult with a professional dog trainer. They can help you develop a training plan that is tailored to your dog's individual needs. With patience and consistency, you can train your dog to stop barking. Remember to be patient and to use positive reinforcement. And if you are having trouble, don't hesitate to consult with a professional dog trainer. Example. Let's say your dog barks at people walking by the window. To train them to stop barking, you would first need to identify the trigger. In this case, the trigger is people walking by the window. Next, you would need to remove the trigger. If possible, you would close the curtains or blinds so that your dog cannot see people walking by. If you cannot remove the trigger, you would need to desensitize your dog to it. This means gradually exposing them to the trigger and rewarding them for staying calm. Once you have removed the trigger or desensitized your dog to it, you can start teaching them the quiet command. To do this, you would say quiet in a calm, firm voice when your dog is barking. Once they stop barking, give them a treat and praise them. Repeat this process several times until your dog is reliably stopping barking on command. It is important to be consistent with your training. Use the same command and rewards every time you train your dog. And be patient. It may take some time for your dog to learn the quiet command. Once your dog has mastered the quiet command, you can start to use it in real-world situations. For example, if your dog starts to bark at someone walking by the window, you can say, quiet, and give them a treat. If they stop barking, praise them. With patience and consistency, you can train your dog to stop barking.